In the Lakota way, when you go hunting, first of all, let me say that not many Lakota people do this today. Okay, today not many people do what I'm about to explain. What I'm going to explain is something very ancient. And you see a little tiny bit of this in the movie Dances with Wolves, yeah? You do see a little bit of this. When we go hunting, we say a prayer, yeah? And we do like it's like making a vow that if you take an animal that you will give something back from yourself, okay? So you don't just take. This animal is alive. This animal is has a life too. Yeah, they have their own way of communication and things like that. So it really is a big matter, a big deal when you take an animal. Okay, so you vow that you will use as much of this animal as possible for a good reason, and that you will feed whoever is hungry. So you're not just taking it for you, you're taking it for your people. Yeah? So you make these vows before you go hunting. And then you go. You go do your hunting and you take what you need. Yeah? And you only take what you need. You don't overdo it because you have to do this in a respectful way. Okay? So after you take the animal, then you say another prayer and you apologize to that animal nation that that you make an apology, but you keep that promise and you say that you're going to use this for the people and that you will do something for the animals. And this is one of the reasons why they Sundance. Yeah, one reason. There's many reasons why people do the Sundance ceremony, but one part of this has to do with the taking of animals for food and clothes and homes. Yeah. So you really respect that animal. You take you take from the animal, you take the meat for the food, and you use the hide, you tan it, and so you can use it for clothes or your teepee or something like that. And the bones, they're used for things too. Yeah, different parts of the body are used for different things. They're tools. So you use as much of the animal as you can for something, okay? You don't just leave things here and there, okay? And you don't cut the head off and hang it on the wall. That's really disrespectful to do. Yeah? Sometimes they use parts of the animal like in ceremonies. Yeah? Like they'll use the horns or the hooves or something like that. They're parts of certain ceremonies, but you don't hang it on the wall like it's art. That's really disrespectful. Yeah? But today hardly anybody is like that. When you go on a reservation today, Indians hunt just like everybody else. They go out and might get some beer or something and then go out all day long looking for deer or whatever. And when they kill one, they take a picture of it and they're standing there holding the horns with this deer that's dead, but they make the eyes of the deer open and they take pictures like this. And then they cut the head off and they send it to some place where they process this and they put something inside the body and they make it into a thing where you can hang it on the wall. So you can say to your friends, I killed that deer. That is incredibly disrespectful. because you see yourself as above the deer. But in the Lakota way, the ancient way, it's not that way. In the ancient way, we're not above them. We are not above the animals. Okay? We are not above the animals. We have to take care of them. We have to manage them. But when you cut the head of an animal off and you hang it on the wall, it's like you're saying you are above the animals. Yeah? And if you think that's okay, then maybe I can go kill your grandpa, yeah? And cut his head off and put it on the wood and say, look, I killed my washichu. This is my washichu that I killed, and I put his head on the wall. How would you like it if I did that, if you're white? See? In the Lakota way, it's the same thing. Yeah? It's the same thing as putting an animal's head on the wall. It's incredibly disrespectful. So we don't do that. But today, I mean, we didn't do that. I need to speak in past tense because today, most native people, they hunt like non-native people do. Yeah, they go out and, like I said, they kill their animal and they pose with it. Yeah, they make the eyes open and they pose with it, with their while holding their cans of Budweiser and all that kind of thing. These are Indians today that do this. And you go inside an Indian guy's house, you'll see a deer head. Sometimes you might even see a buffalo head. Now, in the Lakota story, creation story, it talks about that humans and buffalo evolve from the same creature. Okay, that makes us close relatives. So, to put a buffalo head on the wall is like putting your relative's head on the wall. That's the ancient Lakota way. But today's Lakota people, they don't do that. I know a place on Cheyenne River. Of all things, it's called the Cultural Center. And in the main area, you see a buffalo head, a buffalo bull head hanging on the wall. That shows you how much of our culture that our tribe has lost. Because they think that's right. But in the really, it's not. You see what I mean? That's an example. That's an example of the abuse. Yeah, that's an example of the abuse of animals. Now, what I want to talk about is eagles. Okay, first of all, in Lakota ancient tradition, eagles are considered incredibly sacred because they carry the tone of Shka in their feathers. Now, let me explain what that is. In the ancient Lakota way, Wakatanka is an organization. There's many people in this organization. But you heard me talking about the Christian brainwashing that happened on the reservation. And because of that, we don't think like our ancestors anymore. Now we think really like Christians. So if you go to the reservation today and you ask somebody, what does Wakantanka mean? 99% of the time, they're going to tell you it means God. Ate Wakantanka, that's Jesus. Tankashila Wakantanka, they're going to say that's God. See, that's Christian thinking. That's not Lakota thinking. Wakantanka is not God. Wakantanka is an organization, and there's more than one. They all have the same name, but the reason why there's a different organization works in a different way. Okay? They're organizations. Now, in the first Wakantanka, there is a member of this organization, and his name is Shkun. When you look up into the sky in the clear day and you see the blue in the sky, that is Shkun. Yeah, that is Shkun. This is a sacred being. The eagles fly the closest to Shkun. Now, everybody has something called tune. This is coming from your soul. You have it too. I have it. We all have it. Yeah, it's in our hair. Um, it comes through our hands. Yeah, the in the palms of your hands it comes through, and in the soles of your feet it comes through there too. Yeah, those are the four openings of where tune leaves your body and can come in too. Yeah, so you have to be really careful. That's why in the Lakota way, when you shake hands with somebody you don't know, you do it in a different way where your palms do not meet. Yeah, but there's another way to shake hands where your palms do not meet, and it's still an honorable thing. And when you shake the hands of somebody you trust, then you do it the way you know, yeah, because your palms are meeting. So tune from you is going into him, and his tune is going into you through the palms of your hands. It also travels through your eyes. That's why you have to be careful of what you look at and the way you look at somebody. There's rules about that. So, um, so when this tune, it's part of it's like it's an extension of your soul. Yeah, it has something from you in it. Everything has this. Okay. So when you think about this sacred being that lives way up in the sky, this is not God. Okay, we don't have that belief. This is somebody called Shkun, and this is a sacred being. And the eagles fly the closest to Shkun. So that means some of the tune from Shkun gets inside of their feathers. This is why the feathers are sacred. Okay? This is why the feathers are sacred. So in our tradition, when you're holding an eagle feather, you have to really be careful. Don't let it fall to the ground, because if you slip and the feather falls to the ground, that's kind of a bad thing. So you have to do a ceremony to pick it up. Yeah, that is a really old tradition, and sometimes you see this in powwows today, where the men's traditional dancers always wear eagle feathers. Okay, now sometimes the eagle feather will drop; it'll fall off the bustle. Yeah, it'll fall off onto the ground, and so they have to stop the powwow right there. They stop it. Yeah, there's somebody called an arena director. Somebody tells him, "Hey, there's a feather dropped," and so the man whose feather that belongs to that man has to stop dancing too, and he stands beside the feather, and then the arena director stops the singing, and then he makes the announcement. He needs four veterans, yeah, four warriors, old guys, yeah, to come, and they're going to retrieve the eagle feather. So there's a special song for that. So that when they treat it like it's an enemy, yeah, because it fell, yeah. So then they dance towards this eagle feather and they touch it with their coup sticks, yeah. They touch it and then they turn around and dance back out. They do this 4 times, And then the fourth time, the warrior with the most experience, he picks up the eagle feather and he decides what to do with it. He can keep it if he wants to. It's his right. He's a warrior. Yeah? So he can keep it with if he wants to. But usually they give it back. Yeah, they give it back to the man that it belongs to, and they shake his hands and encourage him. Live good. They don't make him feel bad. Yeah? They say live good. Yeah? So they do this and and Dion Niktelo, yeah, something like that. Live good, yeah, and so then they encourage him. They don't want him to feel bad. And normally when this happens, you have to leave. Yeah, if you get your it doesn't matter if you get the feather back or not. If it's your feather, you're done dancing for that weekend. So you pack up your things and you go home. You're done. Unless these warriors ask you to stay. Yeah, so they might tell the guy, live good and stay. You can stay, they'll say. So you can stay. But if they don't say that, you're supposed to go home. Really old tradition. You still kind of see this in some powwows because it does happen. But here's where the abuse begins. The abuse begins when you have a young guy who never did anything really. Okay, he never went to war. He never did anything with his, he didn't go to university. He doesn't have a job or anything like that. But maybe in his family, they have all these eagle feathers. So he wears them in the bustle. He starts dancing men's traditional. This is an abuse because you're only supposed to wear the eagle feathers that you earn by doing something good for the people, not your family, but for all the people in your nation. They give you an eagle feather because you earned it. Then that's what you can wear. Okay? But when you see these men's traditional dancers that got about 70 eagle feathers on their bustles, they most of the time these guys they're not even veterans and they didn't even earn it. But they wearing it because maybe they bought it. See, that's an abuse. That's an abuse of the ego. And recently I saw this video on Facebook and I was looking for it earlier during the music break and I can't find it. But maybe some of you have seen it. It's a powwow in California. A lot of these California tribes, they have no culture. They have no language. They don't even have traditions because that was all wiped out by the Catholic Church. So they're just a bunch of brown skinned Catholic people. But what they do is they have money. And so, because of their casinos, yeah, they're millionaires. So, what they do is they put on powwows. And some of these guys, like I said, they're millionaires. They got a lot of money. So, what they do is they buy as much eagle feathers as they can and they make these outlandish bustles of eagle feathers. And there's one video where it looks really impressive. Okay, the new agers are probably going, wow, that's so beautiful, that's a warrior. The Indianists are probably saying the same thing because these people don't know shit about our traditions. But from the native point of view, it's not just Lakota, but other tribes have the same view too. Is when they see this video, they get angry because this is incredibly disrespectful. The guy even has little eagle feathers under his eyes. Yeah, the feathers that you find. Where do you find these feathers? I think on the neck of the bird. There's some small eagle feathers there. They get those and they put them on the bottom of their eyes as part of their regalia. And this one guy had a bustle. There were three bustles, a really big one, and then a medium-sized one, and a little tiny one, and they were all on top of each other. Now, visually, it looks really good, but realistically, this is an abuse of the eagles. Yeah, that he probably paid somebody to kill about five eagles to make this this bustle. I was trying to find that because I'm going to post that on my timeline, and I'm going to put titles over it, and I'm going to say this is really an abuse of eagles. This is not our tradition to do these kind of things. This is a man that that is vain, and a lot of these casino tribes are like that. They don't have traditions. They're really small tribes. Yeah, very small tribes. They don't even have a language. They don't even have any traditions. They have no ceremonies, but they have money. Money is their religion. See, not all Indians are the same. Yeah, not all Indians are the same. Now, in Lakota country, this one I saw myself. I saw this experience. Let me tell you a short story. This happened in, I think it was 19. Oh, it was the Rapid City powwow when they used to have the powwow in the summertime. Now they have it in October. Cherie, if you wanted to go to a powwow, this is the one. October. Hotel. Comfort Inn. Dropping some hints here. Indian tacos and hoop dancing and hule, chanija and fry bread and everything. Let's see what she says. Just kidding. Anyway, in the 19, I think it was the early 1990s. This powwow used to be held in the summertime in July. And there was a man, a young guy. He wasn't a man, he was a teenager. He was about, oh, 14 years old. So I would put this at 1994, okay, 1990, 1993 or 1992 or 1993, okay, 1992 or 1993. This young Lakota guy from Shan River Sioux Reservation, yeah, he was about 14 years old. And he's a traditional dancer, okay? And he's really a tall guy. So he looks like a man, but he's really a little boy. Yeah, he's just tall. And he wanted to be in the grand entry. He is a minster. He is a traditional dancer, but he wanted to be in the grand entry, but he didn't have any. He didn't have his regalia. Yeah, that he came to the powwow to snag, and then he realized that he would increase his chances of snagging if he danced. So he talked another guy into letting him use his dance regalia. Now that's irresponsible right there. In our tradition, you're not supposed to do that. So that's already a bad sign. Okay, that's already a bad sign. And then um, he talked the guy into letting him wear his powwow regalia, and then he went to the grand entry, and he this bustle probably had about 40 eagle feathers in it. Okay, let me do that estimate. Maybe 60. Okay, maybe this had 60 eagle feathers. 60, 60, 60 eagle feathers. Soixante. Is that how you say that in French? Soixante. Soixante croissant. J'ai 60 croissants. No, I'm just kidding. How do I say that? J'ai mangé 60 croissants. Croissant. No, sorry. I'm trying to impress Cherie here, but she's not saying anything, so it's not working. she she's she's giving me a mean look. She's looking at me really somehow. Excuse me. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, let me get back to the story. This young guy was wearing this bustle. It had about 60 feathers on it, eagle feathers. These are eagle feathers. Okay? He came dancing into the arena, and guess what happens? The entire bustle fell to the floor. That's almost unheard of. Yeah, normally one feather will fall out, okay? But this one, he was irresponsible. He was just trying to look good for the teenage girls that were there. See? He's a vain man, vain young guy. Well, most teenagers are vain, yeah? But he wasn't responsible. So he didn't fasten that belt on good. So by the time he made it out to the arena, all those feathers fell on the ground. 60 eagle feathers fell on the ground. People were shocked. Shit, I thought some people were going to have a heart attack. They never saw anything like that in their life. That's really, 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 really bad. Yeah, that's not a good thing at all. That's really, really bad. So they had to call some old guys in, some veterans. Yeah, they're one of them was a World War II veteran, and this old man was crying because he never saw anything so bad in his life. He was here in Berlin, and when Nazi Germany fell, he was here, and he said on the microphone that he thought the worst time he ever felt in his life was when he was in Berlin, Germany, when Nazi Germany fell. He said that was the most difficult time in his life until that day. Yeah, he said this is really a bad thing. When 60 eagle feathers fall on the ground at the same time, this is not good. So he said he told the father of this boy. He said, "After this ceremony, I want to talk to you." He said, "If it was just one eagle feather, it's still a bad thing, but he could stay and dance. But this is 60. This is not good. This is really bad." And he was crying when he said that. So they did the ceremony to pick up this bustle. I never thought I would ever see anything that bad in my life. That's probably the one, like this old man said, that's probably the worst thing I ever saw in my life. Now, I've seen people get thrown out of cars and the car smash on top of them. That's a bad thing. But this to me is worse because I grew up in the traditional way. Yeah. So I was shocked. I didn't even know what to think. 60 eagle feathers. My God. So they did the ceremony. There were people crying, and this one they asked the family to leave. Yeah, because this is a really bad thing. So the old man, you could see him. He was talking to the father of this teenage guy, and they asked him, "You have to leave," Because if you stay, everybody's going to be thinking of this bad thing. When they see you, they're going to see those feathers. And people came to this powwow to feel good. But if you stay, they're only going to be hurt. See, this is the community thinking perspective. So they asked them to leave and they left. That was a very rare case. But that shows you how serious the old people see eagle feathers. Yeah, that's a really, really important thing. And the story also shows you how the young people really disrespect the eagle feathers. It shows you how the young people, they don't believe this. To them, this is just a costume, so they can look good to impress the young women. That's what it is to the young men. This is why in my opinion, I always felt there should not be young men's traditional dancing. That shouldn't even exist. That should only be for old people because they're the only ones that understand what this means. This is one of the reasons why I don't like the powwow world. Because not all young guys understand this. There are some who do, okay? But a lot of young guys don't. They only want the eagle feathers because it's a way for them to show off. Yeah, it's a way for them to show off. This is vanity, and that's really uh, unhealthy communication, and it's really disrespecting the Eagle Nation. Wambli oyate ki. Yeah, you could say that. So that's how that is. Now, just recently there was another story where 15 people, some of them were non-native, but most of them were Lakota. They went out and killed over 250 eagles, and they sold them to powwow people and art collectors. This is against the law in America. Now, Native Americans, we have a special permission from the United States, but it's only us spiritual people. Yeah, it's only us spiritual people where we can fill out a application and we send it in for an eagle, a dead eagle. Yeah, and so I'll give you an example. I'm not even going to say the year. When I did this, because I'm a spiritual person, I can do this. Yeah. So I filled out my application. I had it signed by the appropriate people. I had it sent in to Washington, D.C. And then, about a year later, I got a letter from one of the park services in Colorado. And they said they got an eagle for me. And they told me, they said, we're getting it ready for you. They said, and it should be there in um, about a week. And so I had to get ready for that. Yeah, because this is a spiritual thing. And so about a week later, it came. Yeah, it was wrapped in dried ice and well preserved. And oh, geez, I just cried. Yeah, when I opened it up, I just cried. My mother cried, and I had a holy person that taught me how to prepare the eagle. Yeah, so I did that, and then I was able to take the feathers, and because I'm going to use them in ceremony and things like that. So it's really a sacred. You feel the sacredness of that bird. Yeah, that it's like a person. Yeah, was right there. And so I did my prayers of thanksgiving and apologizing and giving something of myself in return and thanking the Eagle Nation that I can use this to help people. That's how it is when you're spiritual. Do you see how that process is? You fill out an application, and you know that says you have to get the proof and all that kind of thing. And I did that, and then you send that to Washington D.C. and they have a way of verifying it. Okay, and then you just wait until an eagle, the Forest Service finds an eagle that is dead, that fell to the ground or something. And if it's in really good condition, then they prepare it right away. Yeah, they pack it in dry ice, and whoever's name is the next one to get the next eagle, they contact them right away, and that's what happened to me. Yeah, so that that is the proper way to get an eagle. But you have to be a spiritual person. This is not the powwow thing, okay? But what these guys did was they went out hunting for them, and they killed over 250 eagles in a very short period of time, and just chopped them up like a factory, and excuse me, sold the eagle parts to people who paid a lot of money for it. That is a gross violation of the eagles. Now remember that story that I told you, that the race, yeah, around the Black Hills. Remember at the end of that story it says that if the humans abuse this responsibility or neglect this responsibility, then the agreement is over. And the bird said, "We'll lead the attack." Now you think about that. The next virus that comes, think about that. That's going to come all over the world really fast. And it's going to take a lot of human people, a lot of humans, or millions of humans. There's even scientists are expecting this. Yeah, they're saying that 20 million people are going to die at least. At least, they said, around the world. They're waiting for it, and it's in our culture. Yeah, the story is in our culture. The story has been in our culture for thousands of years. So we have to be more respectful. Yeah, we have to be more mindful of the animals. We take care of them. We love them. If we're going to take one for food, we have to thank that. Yeah, you thank that animal nation, and then you enjoy. If somebody comes to you who's hungry, you feed them. That's the way it is. That's respect. That's responsibility.